Last year I replastered the walls of my house and I decided to surprise myself with new curtains. I couldn't edit the video right away, but the right time came and today I will show you how I made my curtains. The first thing I have to do is to measure the length of the cornice and the approximate final length of the curtain. As you can see, I have pretty small windows. Now I will show you how I will cut the fabric. The width of my window is 137 centimeters. The total length of the curtain from the cornice should be 112 centimeters. I will multiply 137 by 2 to get the right amount of fabric for the width of the window. The wider piece of fabric you cut, the more gutters and fullness your curtains will have. The pleater tape must be a bit longer than the width of the fabric because you have to fold the ends when sewing it. That's why I will cut 10 centimeters extra. To the final length of the curtain I will add an extra 20 centimeters. I will fold 4 centimeters of the top edge to sew the pleater tape and the rest will be used for the hem. Now without further delay, let's begin. This is the fabric and the smoking pleater tape I bought. To find the correct thread for sewing the curtains, I will place several spools on top of the fabric as shown in the video. Then I will choose the thread that best matches the color of the fabric. This is what the side seams will look like. To make them, I will use one of the compensating presser feet for my machine that sews 3 mm from the edge of the fabric. According to my cheat sheet, this is 1/8 of an inch. First I have to make the side seams, so I will lay the fabric on my ironing board with the right side towards the board and I will iron it to get rid of all wrinkles. When this is done, I will fold the fabric for the side seam. I want to make the side hem 3 cm, so I will fold 6 cm of the edge. I'm using a sewing gauge which will help me to measure everything accurately and do the hems quickly. You need to iron the fabric as you go. Tell me, do you like the fabric I chose to make my curtains with? Now unfold the fabric and fold the edge towards the crease that we just made. Use the iron to make the second crease. Now fold the edge once more as shown in the video and iron it. This way you will have a perfectly folded edge ready to be sewn. Now I will place several pins to keep the edge folded and then I will turn the fabric to make the hem on the other side. You may check the hem with the sewing gauge and it has to be exactly 3 cm. Now let's sew the hem. I'm using the compensating presser foot, but you may use the universal one and guide the fabric along the markings on the needle plate or use a magnetic seam guide. The stitch size is set to 2 mm because I don't want to accent the seams. Make a back tack at the beginning and the end of the seams. This is what the seam will look like. Now make the seam on the other side the same way. This is the smoking pleater tape I will use. You have to cut a piece that is at least 10 cm longer than the width of the curtain. If you inspect the pleater tape up close, you will see these pockets. You have to use one of these rows to attach the hooks for the curtain. You can also see that this pleater tape must be sewn in a specific orientation. The pockets for the hooks must be towards the top of the curtain. Now let's sew the pleater tape to the top of the curtain. At first I will lay the curtain with the wrong side facing up. I will fold the top of the curtain only once, and since the pleater tape I'm going to use is 5 cm wide, I will fold the fabric 4 cm. Then iron the fabric to make a crease. Since the different pleater tapes have different widths, the thing you have to make here is to hide the raw edge of the curtain between the fabric and the tape. This is what the crease should look like. Take the pleater tape and make sure that it will overlap the folded raw edge of the fabric. Don't sew the pleater tape to the top edge because it will be visible when the curtain is attached. I will use my sewing cowl to pull out the strings from the end of the pleater tape. Twist the strings and clip them somewhere on the pleater tape. We will get back to them when the pleater tape is sewn. Cut the excess pleater tape on that side but leave about 2 cm, then fold them as shown in the video. Make sure the pleater tape is oriented correctly, align it and use pins to fix it in place. I will sew it at least 6 mm away from the top of the curtain. Double check if it overlaps the raw edge. Now it should look like this. I don't need pins to hold the bottom of the pleater tape. The only pins I will use are the ones along the top edge and the sides. It should look like this. Use the sewing cowl to pull out the strings from the other end of the pleater tape. Then clip them together as the ones on the other end. Fold the edge of the pleater tape, align it with the fabric and put a pin to hold it in place. Now you can sew it to the fabric. You have to sew a box around the edge of the pleater tape. When you get to the sides, you can use the sewing cowl to push the edge slightly towards the inside so it stays securely sandwiched between the pleater tape and the fabric. I will use the same presser foot and the same stitch length setting. Start sewing from one of the edges, then sew along the top and remove the pins as you go. Then it will be easy to sew the bottom of the tape. Please don't forget to support me by liking the video and leaving me a comment below. I would appreciate your feedback very much. Now you can see how I will push the raw edge of the fabric towards the inside. After you sew the pleater tape, pull the strings from one of the sides and tie them securely. The knot should not be easily untied. Now you can cut the strings close to the knot, or if you have a large hook, use it to hide them between the pleater tape and the fabric. According to me, this is the best way and it allows you to make corrections at any time if needed. Tell me, have you ever sewn curtains and what is your favorite method of making them? Now lay the curtain flat on the floor or the ironing board and put a measuring tape above it. Pull the end of the measuring tape 5 to 10 cm more than the length of your cornice. Remove the clip from the strings on the other side and pull them to gather the curtain until it matches the length of the measuring tape or until it gets about 5 to 10 cm wider than your cornice. The first time I gathered the curtain to the exact length as my cornice and it was a bit narrow than needed, and that's why I'm leaving 5 to 10 cm more. I'm using a small piece for the demonstration because some of the actual footage disappeared while I was moving my stuff when I was replastering the walls. When the curtain becomes the right width, you have to make a slip knot with the strings. It's important to be able to untie this knot at any time if you need to make any corrections to the curtain. After you make this knot, you may pull the strings through the loop of the knot just to keep the knot secure. Then instead of cutting the strings short, use a large hook and pull them between the pleater tape and the fabric. This is what the curtain should look like at this stage. You can now hand adjust it so it is evenly gathered. This is what it should look like from the wrong side. At this point you have to attach the hooks to the pockets. You may choose to hook them to the top or the bottom row. Now attach the curtain to the cornice and use a sewing chalk to mark the right length on several places. I wanted to have a white hem on the bottom to weigh the fabric down, but you can make the hem whatever size you want. Next you have to fold it and sew it exactly the same way as we made the side seams. And the hem will look like this. Now you can see the final result. I hope you like how my curtains turned out. Now have a nice day and see you in my next video.